Okay, let's have a look at how I set up my flipped classroom. So the way that I used to teach, the traditional way, was that I would spend 90% of my time in a lesson, so it was an hour long, I'd spend about 50 minutes explaining content. And then the last 10 minutes, I would apply that content or have students apply that content. And I would always ask them, complete this for homework. Since I flipped my classroom, I now create material and we condense that into 20% of the time if it's in the classroom, or I set this as homework, so to have a look at the terms for homework. And in the classroom, we actually spend 80% of our time applying the knowledge or teaching each other how to use it. Now the model that I use is called the WSQ model. So what I expect of students first is that they watch content that I create, or that in the past I've used content that others have created. Now I create my own content and I make each video somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes. And I do this, it's about a 1:5 ratio of what I would normally do in a classroom or a class that would last 60 minutes. I compact it down to 5 minutes. I make it 5 to 7 minutes because that fits within the schema of commercial TV and it seems to be our attention span, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. It can also be compacted down to this because I don't take a role in that time, I don't have any student management, I just deliver the content during that 5 to 7 minutes. Now, there are two options for how this video or this material can be watched. I started doing it where we would do it during class, so we would take the first 10 minutes to watch the content. That still left me with 50 minutes in a 60-minute lesson to apply that content, far more than what I had before, which was about 10 minutes. More recently, I've been asking students to do their homework, which is to watch the video content beforehand. Some students do it, and they do it very well, and come prepared very well for class. Others don't, which means that I can now set up a differentiated classroom. Those that are confident and competent about the knowledge that we've got and can apply it in the classroom, and those that don't have that confidence or competence. They can watch the material in class. So it means that I'm now not catering for the big middle group. I can actually extend some who've got the content, and I can support those that don't. It also means that students are much more independent learners in that classroom. So students watch the material, I ask them to summarise what they see. It's the content that I deliver. This is what I call the level 1 learning, and before I spent 90% of the time doing this. So I teach students how to use Cornell Notes, to take notes. I also teach them how to use mind maps to put concepts together. This is their content then. The third thing that I get students to do, once they come to the classroom, is question. So if they've watched the material outside the classroom or they've watched the material inside the classroom, students are encouraged to ask questions. It's also the point at which I can ask questions of the students, and that could be, the activities could range for that. Now that's what I call level 2 and level 3 learning, the application of the knowledge that they have gained. The last level that I get them to do is actually teach others, and it's not just a matter of paraphrasing or reciting what they've learned, it's the process of teaching, the same as what I'm doing on video now. So students produce their own material which is at a teaching level, and it far deepens their understanding of the material. So the last thing I'd like to look at is those levels of learning. So at that first level, which is the videos, I pitch it at the knowledge of the terms, and there will be a little bit of application in there as well. So the students, after watching that, can actually say, I've heard of that term, and it might mean this. The second level, which we start now in the classroom, is the application of knowledge. So the first level is, I can do this with help. I can apply that knowledge with help. So I can do whatever it is with help, or I can do it by myself, which is the next level up. And then to get to that fourth level, the really deep level of understanding in a topic, they teach the material, so they may make videos, they may do presentations in front of the classroom, and they can actually say, I can teach this and others understand. So there's a mechanism there where others have to be able to understand as well. So in flipping my classroom, I've gone from most of the time at level 1, teaching terms and a little bit of level 2, to producing videos of level 1 and level 2, to my classroom now being mostly in level 1 and sometimes in level 3 and sometimes in level 4, which I think deepens the understanding of students in my classroom.